So, what are the big expenses facing your association? They're the large projects like roofing, painting, and asphalt. These gradually deteriorate day by day, just like the sand falling from an hourglass. Every association has a unique set of major expenses in their future. The sooner you learn how big those expenses are and when they're going to occur, the more time you have to prepare. In this portion of our Funding Reserves webinar, we'll show you the benefit of having someone on your team who can tell you what's ahead. Every day, the future draws closer. Don't let it arrive before you're ready. There's no time to delay.
Okay, so question is, what's in your future? What is controlling the future of your association? Well, number one, you have to appreciate that, like I said, the cars are running around the racetrack. Owning real estate is expensive. It just is. There's a lot of cost of deterioration. The cost to buy in is only the start of what it costs to own a home with the association. Your mortgage is not an ongoing cost. It's part of your initial cost. Ongoing cost, taking care of deterioration, that's a portion of your monthly assessments. So you have to face the fact and feel it in your gut that, oh boy, oh darn, owning this home is going to come with its expenses. And the choices you make create the future of your association. It's what you do today and at budget time do create the future. And another cartoon along the same lines of what I showed a moment ago. This is Aspen Creek condos. They are what they are. They are what their decisions have made them. We're disorganized, sloppy, and mismanaged. We don't take care of our things. The entry sign is chipped and peeling. It's cracked, hasn't been repaired so long, the birds are making a nest in it, and I bet the units and the buildings back behind look like we saw in that other cartoon. This is the future if you ignore the responsibilities of taking care of and keeping up with ongoing deterioration. So along that theme, what does it look like with underfunding? And that was one of the first parts of what Kali started the program here today. What really are the consequences? Well, if you are underfunding, if you're not keeping up with deterioration, the first thing you see is deteriorating conditions. This is asphalt that at one point in time was shiny and black and smooth, and now you can see it's all cracked and deteriorated, holes filled with water. This is a repair that the repair has failed, and it's just a lousy looking place. And because it's a lousy looking place, you have lagging property values. And that really hurts because that's going to hit you with thousands of dollars of lost opportunity because curb appeal is real. And when the homes aren't selling at what you'd like them to sell because the place just plain doesn't look nice, there's a growing distrust of the board and their ability to lead well. Because remember, in the governing documents, the board has the responsibility to maintain the assets of the corporation, to set and collect the funds, to be able to spend the money to do that kind of stuff. So there's a beginning of distrust. And with the beginning of distrust, there's increased liability exposure. And when the board isn't doing its job, when the board is going off on its own, it's not following the requirements of the governing documents or the rules or these basic three principles to enforce the rules, maintain the property, and manage the finances, then yeah, you've got a problem here. You may have D&O insurance, but D&O insurance may say you've gone off the rails. That is not authorized behavior that we cover as part of normal business. You have done something unusual, and that is on you. So be careful about that. And then with lower property values, less trust for the board, liability concerns, things going off the rails, there's, of course, a declining community spirit. And that's people who are upset, and this can look like long or contentious board meetings, board overthrows, people doing a recall for board members, people insisting that the special assessment fail when you as a board member or manager know special assessment has to pass. We've got a leaky roof going. We can't just pull money out of the air here. So there's problems with the community, and because people don't like it, they say, I'm out of here, and they leave and they put someone in who's just a renter. And so the whole idea of community spirit goes away for people who are just using their home as a rental. Now, I'm stereotyping here, but it's indeed a real stereotype. When there's increased rentals, there's less pride of ownership, and there's only a concern for keeping the monthly assessments down so the homeowner who's renting, the landlord, can maximize their cash flow. And that leads to safety concerns because projects aren't getting done. There's just not enough cash to fix the stairs. You can see a couple more stairs, and in a rain or snow, these are going to be pretty treacherous stairs. And it's not just this kind of stuff. It could be balconies. It could be some facade issues. It could be a lot of different things at the association. And that all leads to the death spiral, where you don't have people who care. The owners aren't willing to support higher assessment structure, and there's declining community spirit. It's a lousy looking place. People think it's a lousy place, and why? I'm not going to pass a special assessment for a lousy place. And that's a very real thing we call the death spiral. So be careful. We can see associations nosing up to that, and bad things happen when you begin to approach the end of the death spiral. Okay, I want to talk about the opposite strategy, where you are funding reserves responsibly. And typically, what we see after preparing thousands of reserve studies all across the country, there is a sweet spot. And that sweet spot is funding reserves 15 to 40% of your total budget. That's a freebie, I can tell you right now. It's not 10%. It's not 50%. It's usually somewhere in the 25% range. And that's, again, something that's just easy to remember, something that I want you to leave this webinar learning, that needs to put you in the ballpark where your association is specifically, it's going to cost you some money to do a reserve study. But free webinar, the answer is you got to think in the 25% range. That's what it's going to take to fund reserves responsibly. Remember, I told you that owning real estate is expensive. This is typically what it costs to be able to offset ongoing deterioration. But when you do that, you can get maintenance done in a timely manner. You can get a roof repaired before it starts to leak and before it starts to make a lot of costly interior damage. All these kinds of things. And it can be not just the timely maintenance that saves additional funds. It can be making sure that you have the money so that you can avoid special assessments and loans. And I've got asterisks there because special assessments give the owners a lot of pain, and loans give the association members a lot of cost, because now, in addition to the loan principal, you are paying significant interest to the bank. So instead of earning it from the bank, offsetting your reserve funding requirements, now you're paying it to the bank, and that gets real expensive. So you avoid this whole problem. You can relax and know that the board has things under control. And because the board has things under control, you enjoy living there. It's a great place. The pool is clean, the spa is warm, the entry gate works, the lobby furniture is attractive. There's just so many minutia type things that all add together, and you realize, I like living here. It's a good place. And yes, it's going to cost you another $10 or $20 or $50 a month, but really that's the difference right there. And when you do that, you have increased home values, maximized home values, homes that will appreciate in the thousands of dollars. And that's much more than the tens or 50s or $100 type numbers that it costs in the higher funding that it takes to fund reserves responsibly. So when I was growing up, they call it the brass ring. The prize is increased home values. And the cost-effective way to get there is funding reserves responsibly. It's very doable.
At Association Reserves, we make the present less stressful and the future more secure. If you want to join us in this mission, please like this video and subscribe to our channel. Leave a comment down below on what you'd like to see us address in a future video. Let's plan for your best future.